Oh, what is this? Another scandal has rocked the very foundation that is the NCAA. And how will this mighty organization recover from yet another horrible injustice to humanity? By using that one weird trick that they always do. It's a formula I will explain to you, but it will leave you with no doubt that the NCAA is as big a joke as either Paul Brothers' credibility. In this video, you will learn how the NCAA is truly structured, why they are a powerless joke of an organization, and how they could fix their problems, and why they fucking won't. Ever. Real quick, let's take a look at some of the most salacious recruiting scandals to rock the NCAA. Louisville using sex workers to entice recruits. UNC handing out grades to their athletes for 18 years. Reggie Bush having to give back his Heisman over illegal gifts. SMU and the death penalty, Nevin Shapiro and the Canes, Maurice Claret getting paid, and we didn't even get into the disgusting sexual assaults and cover-ups that happen within school athletic departments, and the list goes on and on. Now, their two biggest cash cows both have vacant entries into national championships that have been won. For shame. And these are just the surface, as the latest FBI probe has undercurrents of widespread recruiting violations from just about every major college basketball program, and the scandal seems to grow every day. But how will the NCAA navigate out of this like they always do? First, we need to understand how the NCAA is structured before we understand their cunning linguistics. The most important thing to know is what NCAA stands for. National Collegiate Athletic Association. They are not a governing body over any academic institution. They are simply a league that colleges put their teams to play in. They have zero authority over anything other than their league. That's very important. Founded in 1906 by Theodore Roosevelt, the league regulates, in air quotes, over 480,000 athletes across 1,281 institutions and is a nonprofit entity that generated over $1 billion in revenue last year. According to Wikipedia, 80 to 90% of this money came from the men's D1 basketball tournament. The NCAA was originally formed as just an advisory committee, but the need arose to find out what school was the best at something, like football and rape, and now we have the NCAA, a monstrous model of corruption and false veneer. Today, the NCAA has over 500 employees, which according to them interpret and support member legislation, run all the championships, and manage programs that benefit student athletes. 500 employees for a billion-dollar organization are tasked with policing nearly 500,000 athletes and 1,300 institutions from making illegal payoffs and circumventing the ridiculous rules they have in place. The NC2A has a board which has heavy representation from D1 football schools and is solely represented by the institutions that are their members. They appoint the NCAA's president, this guy named Mark Emmert, who is in charge of enforcing the NCAA's rules, which are the intent to keep their athletes amateurs and somehow have a level playing field. That was funny. Now back to my earlier point, you have 500 grossly outnumbered employees and one president who is in charge of enforcing nearly impossible rules. But really, like any commissioner, his job is to keep coffers full and sweep things under the rug and keep getting his $1.9 million salary. Do you know how much $1 billion is? And we didn't even mention how each conference interacts with the NCAA, as they carry a lot of weight when it comes to the rules too. So what are these rules anyways, and how has the NCAA deftly parried every attack on them with the smoothness of Salt Bae? The rules are to keep schools that make millions from their athletic programs from giving improper gifts or compensation to recruits in order to entice them to come to their school. The NCAA wants to retain this false front that it is an amateur league structured around the spirit of competition versus what it really is, a massive revenue generating machine which doesn't have to pay for its labor. Now, schools do give away scholarships, room and board, and offer to educate their participants, but clearly the league has evolved into a stepping stone for the pros. And anytime you get money and greed involved, rules get broken. But it makes complete sense to engage in this type of behavior, does it not? Who even knew where Virginia Tech was located before Michael Vick got there? It's the steroid argument. Look, that asshole is doing it, so should I. Yet the NCAA repeatedly navigates its way through scandal just like any large organization under attack does. Here is their 3-step program. Step 1, they blame the offending institutions before they put any culpability on themselves. Look at how they are structured. They simply set up a league to play. They can't manage these huge bloodthirsty monoliths that suck money out of the masses' pockets. Why? They are just the organization that puts on the show. In fact, they have zero governance or authority over any school. Their sanctions, up to and including the death penalty, which they have only used once, do little to dissuade bad behavior. They are weaker than single-ply toilet paper. Step 2 is begin the denial/cover-up process and wait for the news cycle to pass. Sean Miller is already saying he will be vindicated in his alleged wiretapping, where he is supposedly arranging for a $100K payment to get a player. As soon as someone with some level of authority counteracts any accusations, the apologists, people who don't want to see their team and investment in these teams compromised, begin to rush in. These stories get repeatedly buried in our short news cycle despite rampant anecdotal and hard evidence of cheating. Step 3. Unleash the bread and circuses. Come March and September, when you are following your tournament tracker and sitting on your couch eating Doritos and yelling shit at your TV, you will have long forgotten that the FBI investigated college basketball and some QB got his mom a house. Nobody cares. We need our damn brackets, and our football and hypocrisy and logic have no place in this world. But all of that aside, if this latest scandal really does rock the foundation of the NCAA, how do they fix it? Every pundit out there is saying we need to go to the Olympic model where players can get paid for their likeness. When you need to point to the Olympics, an organization that makes the Venezuelan government look above board for a solution, you know it's not a good solution. That still doesn't solve the part about illegal boosters and payoffs to 18-year-old kids. Cheaters gonna cheat. Okay, what about complete deregulation? Then the athletes become pros, the lower tier athletes make nothing. Title IX, which is a sham of a socialist construct anyways, gets thrown out, and you're left with a de facto minor league, which I think would be better, but the product on the field would suffer. College athletes would need to form a union, there would be no parity, not that there is any now, and it would become just a mess. The only solution I can think of is a hybrid, and though it might sound dumb, hear me out. Allow the players to be paid. Set a max dollar amount, much like a salary cap. Call this money recruiting or signing bonuses, whatever you will. However, there is a catch to this. Hold that money in an escrow account until the athlete graduates. Have it scale for every year they are there. Regulate it. Players can still go pro. But if you want to see that money, get your degree. If the academic institutions don't want to be viewed as a football stadium with a school attached to it, make the players come get what they are supposedly there for. An education. Yes, allow the players to profit from their likeness. To me, not permitting that violates their rights to earn money. Ed O'Bannon sued the NCAA and won regarding jersey sales and use of an athlete's likeness, and the NCAA responded by stopping jersey sales. But really, the NCAA and TV networks profit from every player's likeness. If athletes are on TV, someone's profiting. I don't know if there should be any policing of this. In fact, the schools can make out like bandits, in particular if they want to tie their names to an athlete's endorsements. Yes, it is the Olympic model, but I don't have a problem with people getting paid. Do these ideas solve anything? Probably not. Will the NCAA make any changes? Most unlikely. As soon as tip-off happens, all of this will have evaporated like your chances of getting a perfect bracket. Carry on, Mark Emmert. Nothing is going to change. Speaking of that, when is Selection Sunday anyways? Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to download the FanDuel app from the link below and use my awesome code SCORE5 to get a free entry into the NBA Clutch Shot and get after that fantasy NBA cheddar. And don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, I'm 5 Points Vids, and you made it to the end of this video.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?